How did a small budget movie filmed in 28 days end up winning the Best Picture at the 1976 Oscars and propelled an unknown actor to a household name overnight? We're discussing Rocky, and it's number 3 on my top 6 movies. All right, so we are discussing 1976 Rocky, starring and written by Sylvester Stallone. This was not his first film because he was actually in a movie prior to this with the Fonz. The Lords of Flatbush
That's it.
was the name of that movie. Yeah, never seen it.
Death
Yeah,
Race 2000.
he was in that too. I think that was before Rocky. But yeah, Rocky's number 3 on my all-time list. And I mean, I love all the Rocky films, but the first one, in my opinion, is the best. And there are so many good things about this film. The first one I ever saw was Rocky 4. That's how I knew Rocky. And I didn't see this one until I got a little older. I may have been a teenager when I first saw the original one, where I actually sat down and really paid attention and I watched it. And I have absolutely been hooked on this movie. A little background: Stallone was a struggling actor. He had moved to Los Angeles with his dog Butkus, and he had a wife and a small child, and he's struggling for work. And he had witnessed a fight between Muhammad Ali and some unknown guy, and it inspired him to write
What was his name?
Rocky. I can't remember the other
I'll
fighter's
look it
name.
up.
But he got inspired. So he sat down and he wrote the story and he wrote the screenplay and he took it all over Hollywood to try to get this movie made, and nobody wanted it. And then he ended up getting with MGM and they said, yeah, we'll take this movie. We'll buy the script from you. And he's like, well, okay, great. And they said, but we're going to have somebody else play Rocky. And he said, well, in that case, I want my money back because I'm not selling you the script unless I play this character. And he fought for that. And they ended up saying, okay, well, fine. All right, you can play the lead role. So he wrote it and he starred in it. And winning the Best Picture in 1976. And he got it nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor. So
Actually, just about everyone in that movie was nominated.
Talia
Everyone
Shire.
but Creed.
Yeah, you're right. Talia Shire got nominated for Best Actress. Burt Young, who plays Paulie, he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And so did Burgess Meredith, who played Rocky. So I had 2 Best Supporting Actor nominees.
And 2 Best Actor.
Yeah. So,
Actor
I mean,
and
it was absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't seen this, this is what really, I think, makes this one the best one. You get introduced to Rocky Balboa. Now, if you've only seen 4 and you've seen 3, he's pretty sophisticated. He wears his suits and he talks better.
Talks more good.
He talks more good. But in this first one, he's just a poor guy. He boxes on the side in churches or wherever he can fight. He gets paid $25 a fight. His job is he collects for an asthmatic loan shark, Tony Gazzo. He goes to the docks. He collects money. He breaks thumbs. He's a thumb breaker is what he is. But early on, you can see that this is his job. He's got to be this tough guy, right? But even when he's trying to be tough to these people who owe money, he's got this soft side. Like Gazzo told him, go break this guy's thumbs because he owes me money. And Rocky couldn't do it. You know, he just like, and on his way home, he passes all these kids hanging outside the Atomic Hoagie shop. And he walks this little girl home trying to tell her, like, you can't hang out with these people. You know, you hang out with yo-yos, you get yo-yo friends. You hang out with smart people, you get smart friends. And people are going to remember your reputation. So when you get older, they're not going to know you. They're going to know your reputation. And he's passing on all this wisdom. And he gets the girl to the door and she says, goodnight, Rocky. And he says, goodnight, Marie. And then she says, screw you. He's like, so like everyone just treats him horribly, but he's this really nice guy, and you start to really like this character a lot. He's got a crush on Adrian, who works at a little pet shop, and he goes in there every day and tries to tell her jokes, and he tries to take her on dates. And his best friend is Adrian's brother Paulie, who's an alcoholic, and he's verbally abusive to everybody, and he's hard to get along with, but Rocky still kind of looks out for him, and he ends up getting the opportunity to fight Apollo Creed, who's the heavyweight champion. And Creed is looking at this as, I need somebody to fight, so I'm going to take an underdog and I'm going to put him in the ring with me. And the only reason he's doing this is because it makes Apollo look good. Like, look what a nice guy Apollo Creed is. And he's thinking about the money. And Rocky accepts the challenge. And to me, the best scene in this movie is Rocky goes down to the Spectrum before the fight, and he's standing in the ring and he's looking up at these two banners. And on the banner, he's wearing red trunks with a white stripe. And he tells the promoter that the banner is wrong. I'm wearing white trunks with a red stripe. And the promoter says, it doesn't really matter, does it? I'm sure you're going to give everybody a great show. And he goes home and he's thinking that over, and he realizes that that's all this is. This is just a show. I have no chance of winning at all. I am not going to beat Apollo Creed. All he wants to do is go the distance. He just wants to go the full 15 rounds with Creed because nobody has ever done that. And he tells Adrian, if I can go the distance with Creed, then I can prove that I'm not just another bum from the neighborhood. And like, people might actually get me some respect. I can make something of myself. So that's his whole goal. And, you know, he gets in the fight and he's getting beat up, and then he keeps going back, and they get down to the 14th round and he gets knocked down, and this tremendous score from Bill Conti, who wrote the music to Rocky, kicks in.
Won an Oscar.
Yeah, he won an Oscar too. Kicks in, and Mickey, his trainer's telling him to stay down, and Apollo's in the corner with his hands up like, I'm going to win. And Rocky gets up and he shakes off the official, and he looks at Apollo and he does this. He just goes, come on. And Apollo's standing there shaking his head like, I can't believe this guy is still getting back up. And he goes to 15 rounds. And spoiler alert, Rocky does not win. Apollo wins in the end. Apollo wins by split decision. But Rocky doesn't even care. He's not even paying attention. The only thing he's doing is he's yelling for Adrian to come out. Adrian comes out. They share a moment in the ring. That's
loses
all.
Her hat.
She lost her. Where's your hat?
That was the best line of the movie. I'll get to my feelings on that. You go ahead. Sorry.
But anyway, so he doesn't win, but he did his thing. He went the distance. And I think that's why I love this movie so much. It's just about this underdog guy that nobody cares about. Everyone makes fun of. Everyone puts him down. And he gets this shot. And it's like, I don't even want to win. I just want to do this. I want to reach this goal. And he does it. And I think it's very inspirational. I mean, I watch a Rocky film and I feel great afterwards, especially with this music. Like, I heard Gonna Fly Now on the radio the other day, and I was telling the guys, I feel like I could go and run 10 miles after I hear that song. Like, there's nothing in this world I can't do if Gonna Fly Now is playing. But I could just watch this movie over and over. It's just so inspirational, and it's got so many great funny moments in it. The writing is absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, to think that this is Stallone's first film that he wrote, and he fought hard for it. So in real life, Stallone was an underdog too. You know, he writes this movie and he's trying to get it made, and I'm going to star in it. And that's the only way this is going to work. And he fought for that just the same way that his character fought for his purpose and what he needed to get done. So in a way, I mean, they parallel themselves so well, because overnight everybody knew Rocky, and now everybody knows Sylvester Stallone. So that's just some of the reasons why I think Rocky is why it makes my number 3 on my top 6.
That's cool. And we covered Samaritan on one of our other podcasts, and I can see some of those themes that he brought back in that movie of being the good guy in a messed up, dark world type of thing.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
Yeah, he lives in an apartment that's like a single room. His bed is like next to the toilet. He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't.
1970s Philly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a line of brick houses, and he lives in this rundown apartment, and he's got nothing. You know, he's got 2 turtles, Cuff and Link, and that's it. He uses a pole with mattress wrapped around as a punching bag to practice. He throws darts at his bathroom door. I mean, it's got like, it is the most rundown apartment that you can imagine. And so you try to imagine what this guy's life is like day in and day out. You know, he's got nothing but the clothes on his back, pretty much. So him getting that one shot, finally, a chance to prove himself. You know, during the whole movie when he's training, even his manager, before Mickey decided to manage it, would call him a bum. You're a bum. You could be a good fighter, but you're nothing. You're a bum, and you should think about retirement. That's all they kept saying to him. And Rocky's like, no, I believe in myself, and I can do this, and he did it.
Yeah, it's now Rocky 4 was my number 4 in my top 6, if you do remember. That was my favorite, but by far the original Rocky is the best. Hands down. Creed being a close second. Yeah, the original Rocky. Here's what a few things I like about it. First of all, it's a 70s movie. Now, 70s movies were hard to watch. There are very few that I can continue to rewatch. I've seen Raging Bull. I've seen... Yeah, see, I can't even think of any other. But, and Raging Bull was a it was a great movie, but it was very 70s. I don't know. It's hard to explain unless you've seen a lot of those movies, and I don't know. Maybe it's just
dark
me
and
too.
maniacal.
But yeah, I mean, obviously Star Wars came out in the 70s. That was a different style movie. Godfather, completely different style. But even Godfather has that. Even the Exorcist, one of my favorite movies of all time, has that 70s feel to it. But the fact that, again, it's just one of those rare 70s movies that came out and I can watch over and over again. And people always talk about the underdog story, which is, the theme of the movie. But I love how, and Drew kind of talked about it a little bit, the whole movie, it's all about his love and his compassion for the people around him. Like he said, he didn't want to break that guy's thumbs, and his boss is asking why, and he's like, well, I figured if he has broken thumbs, he can't work, and if he can't work, he can't get paid, and if he can't get paid, you can't get money. He's just kind of explaining how he can help, but can still keep thumbs unbroken. Mm-hmm. Drew talked about the end of the movie when they're reading the results, and he just doesn't care. He's looking for Adrian, and she gets there, and he's hugging and kissing her, and there's so many things he can say at that moment. It's like, did you see that? Or I went the whole 15 rounds, or I did it for you. No, he didn't even care about any of that. He kissed her, and he's like, where's your hat?
Yeah,
she lost her hat. And, and he noticed, my girlfriend doesn't have her nice hat that, matched her entire outfit or whatever. I mean, the dude can barely see, and he notices that. And it just shows his love, his love for Polly, helping him out, his love for Mickey. Mickey at one point, like Drew said, is calling him a bum, get out of the game. And then he gets this job, and it's like, Mickey comes back and he's like, I can help out. And Rocky's like, no, you can't help out. You said I was a bum. Get out of here. 10 seconds later, he's chasing after Mickey. I'm sorry. Yeah,
puts his arm around him and says, I'm sorry.
And and if you go through, he struggles with things 2, 3 and onward, but that is the theme of Rocky, is how much he loves the people around him, how much he loves the sports, how, just all of this stuff. And that's why every Rocky movie, even 5,
it's still got the same thing.
Just some great speeches, great love moments about love. And that's what I see first with Rocky movies. Rocky 4, it's more music video than anything, but that's always been my favorite because of growing up. But yeah, this movie is just insanely, if I had to pick a top 6 best movies ever, in my opinion, this would be in it. 100%.
Yeah, it's interesting that, we're always looking for the deeper meaning in movies. It's funny that he says that to her about the hat, because it's like he was trying to show you with the screenwriting that even though he wanted to win this fight and he fought to not be seen as a bum. He also didn't go too far the other way. He's still actually humble. He's not really doing this for fame or self-recognition. He's just trying to be seen as a person, like a human being. That's really cool.
Yeah. Doug is exactly right. Throughout the entire, six, if you want to, 6 movies, if with Rocky Balboa, there's boxing and there's that action and there's some drama. But you're right. Rocky's character is just an everyday guy that you can't help but like. And the way he treats other people, he never says anything bad to anyone. He's always trying to help everyone, even if they don't want the help. He tries to tell his jokes. It's just like, you can't help but root for him. Even when the movies get a little corny, like in 3 gets a little off a little bit, but still, you can see the character development that Stallone has put into this character and the way he plays this character. He puts so much into it. These monologues, these speeches that he gives, and they're brilliant writing. I mean, because you can take everything that Rocky says in these monologues and put it into your own life and hear this and go, my God, that's really good advice. Or I felt like that before. I know what he's feeling. And I think that's why that resonates with so many people. And again, a lot of people look at Rocky and they see Stallone and they think, oh, it's a Stallone movie. And no, it's not Rambo. This isn't, him blowing stuff up and all that stuff. This is real drama, and he really puts in a performance when he plays this character. The last time he played this character was in Creed 2, and he actually got nominated for Best Supporting Actor as playing Rocky in Creed, which I think may have been even one of his best performances as
far.
His character. It was
by far
amazing. And
I haven't seen Bridge of Spies, but oh man, come on.
Yeah.
That guy, he's the second person ever to be nominated for the same role twice. And the other was Pacino for Godfather. Mm-hmm. But, Pacino for Godfather was, 70 whatever, and then like 4 years later. We're talking a 40-year span with this character, and he was able to move people back in 77, 76, 76.
70.
And then, and then moved him again over 40 years old, or about 40 years. No, it's got to be over 40 years. Yeah, definitely. Right. And the fact that he could still move people with that same character. Man, he won everything else. So it almost felt like, well, golly gee, the Oscars got to make it up for the people. I'm not a big awards guy. I got my own feelings on those. But yeah, I was just at the same point. If you're an actor, of course, that's what you want. And he deserved it. Mm-hmm. So they've given ticky-tack awards away their entire career, and then they skip over this. Come on. Mm-hmm. Don't know. Okay, let's stop. I'll talk for hours on that. So let's move on. Should have won.
On another theme on there, like on the spiritual themes, when you're talking about how his character at the beginning of the film is kind of like a light in the darkness type of thing, where he's trying to help that little girl and stuff like that. He basically is embodying what Christianity is supposed to be, like a light in a dark world, right?
Yeah.
Or helping people. So he embodies that better than what you see on the news out of Christianity and stuff. So you can almost learn a lot from watching Rocky, it sounds like. Because I actually haven't seen the movie, but you could actually learn a lot about what Christianity is supposed to be from watching Rocky. And so it's funny when you tell me that at the end of the movie, like he loses the fight. Like I
saw your reaction. I was like, man, you haven't seen this?
No.
His eyes got this big. It was like, oh, he hasn't seen it.
Like you got to be kidding me. Like
no,
I thought he won that fight.
No, and I'm glad he didn't. I think it was perfect that he didn't win, because in a way he still did. He still did. He won the respect, and he proved to himself that he wasn't what everybody says he was. That he knew he was something more, and he came to it. But talking about him being a light, and there's a lot of examples of him doing this. We talk about him talking with little Marie and walking her home, and then she gives him the finger, and he's like, "Yeah, who are you to give advice, creepo?" is what he says when he's walking away. Paulie is an alcoholic and very hard to get along with, but he tolerates him, and he actually gives, he tries to. Paulie makes a robe. So he's got this gigantic bathrobe on when he's going down to the ring, and on the back it says Shamrock Meat Packing Company, which is where Paulie works, and that's where that real famous scene of Rocky punching the meat. And the reason he's hitting that meat is because Paulie had said something to him that made him mad, and instead of taking it out on Paulie, he started hitting the beef, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's wearing this robe, and Paulie says, "Hey, can I make some money off this fight, like using your name?" And he's like, "Why?" He goes, can I just put like the advertisement of the meat packing thing on the back of your robe?" And Rocky's like, "Hey, yeah, you do what you have to do. Like, absolutely. Like whatever I can do to help you, do it." So he's got this bathrobe with the big Shamrock meat. And in the second one, it's funny because they're walking down to the ring, and he looks at Mickey and goes, "Hey, I like this robe. This robe fits pretty well. You remember that robe he wore last year? Like how baggy it was." So he helps Paulie, and Adrian is a shy lady.
She has like 9 lines in this movie.
She says nothing. She's quiet. She doesn't say anything. She's always wearing her sweater and her glasses and her hat. And every day Rocky's trying to
just get her to smile,
just to get her to laugh. He comes and tells her a joke every day. And so on Thanksgiving, they go out on a date and they go ice skating. And he's telling stories about why he fights, because he can't sing and dance. And, he's saying how you have to be an idiot to be a fighter. And he gets her to loosen up a little bit. Like she starts talking. She's a horrible ice skater, by the way. Adrian is the worst ice skater.
No way.
And, but
great scene.
They go on this. It is a great scene. They go on this ice. They have 10 minutes and they're just doing laps. And he's just talking and talking and talking. And she's listening. And he even says, like, what a couple we make. I'm kind of a moron and you're shy. But by the end of the movie, Adrian stands up for herself to Paulie. Paulie comes home and he's upset and he's yelling at her and saying, "You're supposed to take care of me and you're supposed to do this because I give you I give you food." And Paulie's like, "I don't get married because of you and you owe me." And Adrian snaps and says, "I don't owe you anything. I cook for you. I clean for you. I do all this stuff." Rocky brought that out for her. Rocky is the one who gave her that confidence to stand up for herself and be her own person and not put up with this bully brother that she has.
Very girl power.
Yeah. And you can see her evolution through these movies too. Oh, and, yeah. But Rocky,
she's hot in part 4.
Yeah. But Rocky brought that out of her, So he's always inspiring people, whether he knows it or not, throughout this whole movie. He's putting a positive impact on everybody he comes in contact with. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
and
it's
he
fantastic.
Doesn't. Religion is known for like isolating itself from other people, but he is staying in these relationships with people who are hard to get along with, and like trying to love them and trying to impact them. So I think that is actually much more true to how things are meant to be. So and more that's actually more of like the biblical ideal right there is not looking at people and being like, "Oh, they're hard to get along with. I'm going the other way." It's like actually trying to be a part of their life and help them and love them even though it's difficult. That's actually more of the ideal. So.
Yeah.
I had a misconception about this movie, and I thought it was just one of those like fun 80s, popcorn movies. No. And it sounds like there's a whole lot more here than I ever knew. So
it is.
I'm probably going to watch it sometime.
You should, and you will be inspired, especially during the training montage when you see him getting stronger and running, and you see him. The first time he runs through the streets, he wakes up at 3:00 in the morning. He chugs raw eggs, and then he takes off running through Philadelphia, and he's holding his side because he's so tired. And then by the end of it, he's running up those stairs, and finally making it. And the music and it doesn't give enough credit. The entire score is fantastic. It adds so much. So watching him progress and watching these scenes and listening to this music, and I think this movie was shot in 28 days on like zero budget. They had to do night shoots.
No money.
No, they just did night shoots. They filmed wherever they could film. I mean, he used his own dog in the movie. Butkus is actually his dog, and it shows up in the movie. And his dad is the guy who rings the bell. His brother, Frank, sings. He's one of the street corner, stands on the corner by the trash can. Take it back. Yeah, that's Frank Stallone. So he just threw everybody he knew into this movie and said, let's just shoot it in 28 days and get it over with. So,
that's awesome.
And won the Oscar for Best Movie.
Yep.
That's the most incredible thing about it. Like where it started and where it ended. That's amazing.
I know a lot of people say it, and I haven't seen it, but I know it was almost an underdog upset with that too, because there was a movie called Network with Robert Redford and was Paul maybe, I can't remember. I know Redford was in it, but that was supposed to be the movie that was going to win that year, and then here comes a little unknown dude named Sylvester Stallone.
Yep, and the legend was born.
Awesome.
So anyway, well, that is my number 3 on my top 6. And if you haven't seen Rocky, I highly suggest you go check it out and watch it. And I said, I'm talking to you, Nate.
Yeah, I was going to say we can end the way we began. Said I was going to look it up. Rocky was inspired by Chuck Webner.
Chuck Webner.
Yep.
Okay, that's who.
So I said I was going to look it up. I didn't want anyone freaking out. We said it.
You got it.
Yeah, these listeners will get on you. Okay.
All right, so coming up next, we'll be doing my number 2 movie favorite.
Give us a hint.
Of all time. Number 2?
Yeah, give us a
hint. It's a sequel.
That's the hint?
That's your hint.
I need more. Aliens?
It's a sequel to...
I know what it is, but
that's
enough. Holiday.
Man, you are good at guessing. No, it's a sequel
Christmas Vacation to Uncle Eddie's.
Cousin Eddie's Island or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever. Sorry.
No, number 2 is a sequel to probably the biggest blockbuster movie of all time.
Oh, God.
Titanic 2?
Titanic.
Oh. Now everyone knows.
Okay, I'm not going to guess. I don't want to spoil it. I think I know what it is. All right, listeners, well, we'll be back with that soon. So if you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, tell us what you thought of this movie, and let's talk. So we'll see you next time.
Yo, Adrian!